We have recently made a video on one of the income streams that we use to travel full time, and since then we have received so many questions and messages on how we accelerated our finances to get to a passive income stage. So in this video, I'm going to share 10 of what I believe to be the best side hustles to start, and I've categorized them into home-based, skill-based, and content side hustles. I've also given each idea a ranking in terms of the time investment and difficulty to get to your first $100. Plus, I'll share some real-life examples along the way to give you a realistic idea of what's possible. Let's start with home-based side hustles. This is perfect for you if you want to make money without needing to leave the comfort of your own home. To do this, here are some of the strongest ways that I've found. Firstly, starting a home cafe. This is where Joanna and I made our first pot of gold. We started baking from home and expanded into 2 physical retail outlets doing baking workshops, even while we were still students. And most recently, many home cafes have been popping all across Singapore, and I even stumbled upon a website called Akapa that lists home-based food businesses near you. As of today, you don't need any food licensing to get started from home. There's tools like TikTok, Akapa, Go Business that allows you to understand licensing requirements, build your brand, spread awareness, and get customers very, very quickly. And this is where the gap is. So many food businesses close because they take on high overheads before they can prove demand or profitability. So this is where you can come in, build a loyal following, prove that it actually works before deciding whether or not to take on rent and hire staff. In terms of time intensity, I give this a 3 out of 5. It really just depends on the product. So it might take a little bit of time at the start, but once you get it set up and running, it can be fast. Difficulty to earn your first $100, I give this a 3 out of 5. The key is to first attract your first customers, build reputation, and from there, your business is off to the races. Number 2, workshops. Workshops are a really powerful side hustle because they let you leverage your network and multiply your earnings by literally doing the same thing. Popular ones are third spaces, baking, floral arrangements, and pottery. Take for example the case of baking. It takes you on average about 4 hours to bake a cake. And let's say you sell a cake for $80. In that same period of time, imagine if you were to get 4 other participants to join you in your home to bake a cake by themselves. In this way, you can charge each participant the same amount and make 4 times more in those 4 hours. And this is also one of the reasons why we pivoted our business from selling cakes to doing workshops instead, because it was a more lucrative use of our time. Plus, you can even do this at home. In terms of time investment, I would give this a 3 out of 5. Preparing your workshop and creating a curriculum does take a little bit of time, but once you have that sorted, it's just rinse and repeat. In terms of the difficulty to earn your first $100, I would give it a 2 out of 5. If you have a niche skill like baking, well, you could be charging way more than that. Number 3, carousel. We recently got into sourdough baking, and I realized how hard it is to get sourdough starters because you can't buy it from the store. You can only either get it from a friend or you have to make it from scratch by yourself, which could take days. So I managed to get it from a friend, I multiplied it, and I immediately listed it on Carousel. In that same night, I had someone come in with an inquiry and they bought it. You can really just list anything that you believe is of value on Carousel. It's no longer a place for old, discarded, unwanted things anymore. And if you're going to be doing a workshop, you can also list that on Carousel. In terms of the time needed, I would give it a 1 out of 5. And in terms of the difficulty to get your first $100, I would give it a 2 out of 5. If you have a couple of items like vintage clothes, books, or tech just laying it around, list it up for $30 each. You just need to sell 4 and you have already hit that threshold. Now, moving on to skill-based side hustles. This is for the people who enjoy connecting with others, being a bit more hands-on, and working with other people. First is pet sitting. Pet sitting is booming, whether it's for travel or full-time workers. Pet parents need help, and apps like Porsche help you get started really quickly. So this works because there's low barrier to entry, you get recurring clients, and if you love animals, it hardly feels like work. So let me tell you a story. I know a guy who started pet sitting from home. He listed his services on Porsche and he really quickly became one of the top pet sitters on the platform. He had at least 10 dogs coming in every single day for doggy daycare. They were regular customers. They paid him $40 each time, and now he's still doing pet boarding services but from his shop space. In terms of time, I'll give it 3 out of 5. It really just depends on the dog. Every dog has a different behavior. In terms of the difficulty to earn your first $100, I'll give it a 1 out of 5. One weekend booking will get you to that goal. This is great if you love animals, and once you build trust and reviews, the bookings would come in regularly. Next is tuition. Singaporeans always invest in education, so if you're great in your academics, you can start private tuition. But if you're not academic, we'll touch on other ways next. There are also home-based tuition centers that allow you to franchise their materials so you don't have to start a curriculum from scratch if you join their team. In terms of time investment, I would give it a 2 out of 5 because you can do it after work hours and it's quick hourly sessions. And in terms of the difficulty to earn your first $100, I would give it a 1 out of 5 because 1 to 2 sessions would get you to that goal. If you can't deal with children, companies are always looking for commission-based closers, especially early-stage tech startups. And compensation is typically by sale or by meetings booked. It is very rare that you get paid for your time in this space. Why this is underrated is because it pays well, it builds your network, and if your goal is full-time employment, it could lead to that as well. First, create a LinkedIn profile. Identify a list of early-stage tech startup founders, outreach to them to pitch your offer, and of course, the success of you getting clients and doing well in the role is mastering lead generation, cold calling, email automation, LinkedIn sequencing, and just any other outbound strategies. Now, in terms of time investment, I would give it a 4 out of 5 because it's slow to learn the skill sets at the start and get good at it. In terms of the difficulty to earn your first $100, I would give it a 4 out of 5, but rest assured that once you master it, it more than pays off all your efforts at the end. So here's what I'll do if I'm not a fan of tech. Why not go the traditional route? A lot of niche, high-quality brands, they don't want a retail space. They want reps who can sell through communities. Think WhatsApp, DMs, or even weekend pop-ups. Just make sure to pick brands that you truly believe in, and there are a ton like essential oils, healthcare products, skincare products, and even household appliances. Most of them are always recruiting, and you may even know someone in your circle who you can reach out to. In terms of time, I would give it a 3 out of 5. It requires a lot of outreach and fulfillment to your clients. And in terms of the difficulty to earn your first $100, I would give it a 3 out of 5 as well because it depends on the profit margin and the size of your network. Okay, so maybe you don't want to sell a product. How about selling your knowledge? Whether it's life coaching, career coaching, or content coaching, if you have achieved something that people want, you could be a coach. So in the first 2 months of leaving my job, I went to Bali, and because I had a good track record of fast-tracking my career in tech sales, I became a coach to people who wanted to switch into the industry that I was from. Each cohort lasted 8 weeks and it was a weekly Zoom session. So here's the tip, start with one-on-one and then you can scale up to do group sessions. In terms of time, I'll give it a 3 out of 5. It requires time to make sure that you deliver on your sessions. And in terms of your difficulty to earn your first $100, I would give it a 2 out of 5 because very similar to tuition, the rates can be good if you prove credibility. So you need to have a good track record or transformation story, and it's great long-term if you niche down. Last one on this skill-based category, start an agency. If you have experience in ads, design, social media, or creating websites, this could be good for you. Businesses of all sizes need digital help, but they can't afford large agencies. So I would say that with the rise of AI, the demand for agencies has dropped. But if you can offer this as a service with research or with marketing, and you can prove how your previous work has increased conversion rates or click-through rates, then that is what's really going to make you stand out. So during COVID, I noticed that there was a rise in the consumption of live streaming. People were not allowed to get out of their home to shop in the malls, and so they were buying things online instead. So noticing this trend, I reached out to the top live streamers in Singapore, partnered with them, and started offering live streaming services to small businesses. We sold durian, we sold Chinese New Year snacks, and during events like National Day, we held a National Day live show, which included a lot of different F&B restaurants across the country. The secret is to offer done-for-you packages, and it's always results that matters, not the hours. In terms of time, I'll give it a 5 out of 5 because it is not easy getting a business started and it requires a lot of time investment upfront. And in terms of the difficulty to earn your first $100, I'll give it a 3 out of 5. It really just depends on the client size and the service that you're offering. Moving on to content-based side hustles. This one takes a lot of time, but it has an insane upside. We're talking about YouTube, UGC, and TikTok. So whether you're reviewing food, vlogging your life, creating content for businesses, content creation is one of the highest leverage side hustles today. If you're shy, do faceless content like explainers or storytelling with B-roll. And if you're not, build a personal brand around an area that you're genuinely interested in and can add value to. In terms of time, I'll give it a solid 5 out of 5. It takes a long time to build your audience. And in terms of the difficulty to earn your first $100, I would give it also a 5 out of 5. It does require a lot of patience. The first $100 could take months, but the next $1,000 could be passive. The best side hustle is the one that you can stick with for at least 6 to 12 months to really see it pay off. If you want to get an understanding of how to think about your finances or wealth in general, I think you'll like this video.